I'm attempting to complete every single Gamecube game, and I'm using a random number generator to pick the next game. Last episode, we saved our bandmates on our scooter in World Tour. This episode, we're shrinking down into tiny cars and racing around some bald guy's house in Micro Machines. Micro Machines was released January 17th, 2003, and it was exclusively for PAL, and was developed and published by Infogrames Studio. Never really heard of them before, but that's who did it. This game was challenging, but I also really enjoyed it. So overall, I had a good time with it. Before we get started, make sure to like this video because it really helps out the channel, and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any of the future games. Without further ado, this is my experience with Micro Machines. In Micro Machines, we're going to play through the Micro Machines Championship. It has 4 tiers: Bronze, Silver, Gold, and Platinum. This is our first PAL only release, so I had no previous experience with this one. There's a huge lineup of characters in this too. We got Grizzly Beard, Miami Mike, Frankenstein, Callahan, Elmo, Magenta, Danger Ranger, and Aunt Betty. Each one of the cups are broken up into 4 races, and you get points based on the position you finish each race. First place gives you 6 points, second place gives you 4 points, third place gives you 2 points, and fourth place gives you 0. No points. The first race in the Bronze Cup is a race that takes place outside. It looks like the edge of a street. You go over a curb and a sewer grate. The second race takes place in an attic, and below you can see a guy from the opening scene taking a bath. Pretty strange thing to add, but it is what it is. In Micro Machines, you have power-ups that you can collect while racing. These have things like little missile, speed boost, protection from being hit, a boxing glove, a frying pan. You know, your typical day-to-day attacking weapons. I don't think I really used most of these while playing, but it is neat and to include. It kind of changes up the races. The third race in this cup takes place in like a little pond thing, and we race around in boats this time. Each style of race changes what vehicle that you race in. Sometimes it's a boat, a car, a motorcycle, a monster truck. Each vehicle controls a little different, but it's usually not too crazy different. I noticed that the boats and the motorcycles are a little faster at moving, and the monster truck and car has a little bit better handling. The last race in this cup takes place in what I would call a barn. It has chickens and hay all around, and you have to drive on a picnic table and pieces of wood. We finished this cup by finishing in first, third, first, and first again in the last race. This allowed us to unlock the Silver Cup. I used Aunt Betty in this cup, but I also mixed in Grizzly Beard because my chat on Twitch told me I sort of looked like him. I don't know how I should take that, but check out my Twitch at Reisigo. On to the Silver Cup. In the Silver Cup, the first race takes place in a science lab. This has like green ooze around the racetrack. It goes from like a lab portion to like the ceiling of the lab. And then it's pretty short. The next race, we're back in the water, but this time there are skeletons all over the place. This is like a puddle in a cemetery, I guess. Pretty interesting. The third race takes place in another type of lab, but this one's really short. You kind of just race around this weird machine in the middle. This race was the first, I would say, course that is very difficult to kind of get used to, just because the turns are pretty sharp and you can't like mess up or fall off. The last race in this cup takes place on the sand by the beach. There are palm trees and ice cream cones laying around. The guy from the opening cutscene is laying underneath the sand with just his head sticking out. I'm pretty sure he's dead. I don't know. I don't think he's alive. I finished this cup finishing in second, first, and first. This cup was pretty easy overall. But after this cup, the game gets way more difficult. We unlock the Gold Cup and we move on to that. In the Gold Cup, the first race takes place in a garden again, but this time we're riding around waterfalls and jumping over like streams of water. Pretty difficult. The next race takes place in an attic again. This time we have a section of the race where we race over a magic Aladdin rug. And then we ride up this big spiral thing, which most of these are household items. I don't know what this is. So if you know what it is, leave a comment down below. The third race takes us back into the streets. But we're on bikes this time around. We have to drive over a pizza box. We ride up this like construction site thing. And then we have to jump down some stairs. It's pretty neat overall. In the last race of the cup, we go back to the barn and we drive around on the piano that a guy's playing like a hoedown song on. And then we go through some hay where there's like mice all over the place. This is definitely the easiest course in this cup. When I finished this cup, I finished in first, third, second, and first. Overall, this was pretty difficult, and it definitely took me a handful of tries to get to the point where I could just finish it and, you know, come in first in the overall standings. This gave us the last cup, the Platinum Cup. By far the hardest cup in the game by a mile. But here we go, on to the Platinum Cup. The first race in the Platinum Cup takes place in what I would call like a metal shop. There are machines moving around and they knock you off the course. It has really sharp turns and you have to turn your car like as you're coming down off of a turn. It's pretty difficult. You do get to ride all around this like bend that's just made out of bubble wrap, which I thought was pretty cool. The next race takes place in a cemetery area again. This time there are snails trying to get in your way and there's skeletons trying to grab you. There's a bird at some point. Basically just a bunch of outside factors trying to screw you all up. This one's probably crazier than it should be only because we are using the bikes and you go pretty quickly around this one. The third race takes place in, I would say it's another lab. All these labs look different, but I'm not sure. This one looks like a lab that is made out of Legos. There's lights everywhere, but it's also pretty short. Seems to be the theme for like the lab levels. This has an area on the back end of the race that has 3 speed up power-ups in a row. This could really change the tide for you, or, you know, pull away if you're already in the lead. But it can cause you to fall off because you're kind of going around a bend as you hit them. The last race takes place in the water again. We're on our boats for the final race, and we're hanging out with the turtles. This race is so fast that it goes by in a flash. Like, I'm not kidding. There's times where I feel like I go to crowd on the course once, and it was like, oh, end of the race. You finished in 4th. You suck. It doesn't tell you suck, but that's how I felt. But it doesn't give you much room to correct any mistakes you make because it just goes by so fast. In the end, when we finished up the Platinum Cup to finish in first place in the overall standings, we finished the races first, second, first, and second again. So this was definitely my best attempt. I don't know how many more attempts it would have taken, but we got it in this run. Once you finish the cup, you get another cutscene. It shows the man from the bath at the beginning, sitting on the couch, dead under the sand. Shows him again in the bathtub. They really like showing this dude. I don't know what he is to the developers, but they really love this guy. He drops a soap and he like bobbles it around in the bathtub, and then the camera pans down and shows you the bar of soap, and it has the Micro Machines logo on it. And then you get access to a new vehicle when you beat all 4 cups as well. It's the fan boat. So it's a little bit different, and you can ride on both water and land. I don't really think it was all that great, but it is cool that you actually get to unlock new things in this game. And that's it. That's the game. We finished this one up. If you want to know what we're playing next, stick around. But if not, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. 5:58 now, so on the count of 3, we will find out what we're playing next. In 1, 2, 3, and generate 6. Number 6. What is 6? It is The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron. Attack of the Twonkies. What is the deal? Why do I only get weird games like this? Just all the time. I hate it.